Oh, what's up, guys? Welcome, Lauren Pritchard. Doing a quick video. I was just inspired by the Super Soldier Forum on Facebook. Sometimes there's some really good posts and really good conversations in there, and I don't know. Somebody had some good questions and also had some background on what AI really is. The Super Soldiers largely understand what AI is, so I thought I would do kind of this like recap because it's been many years. Back in 2016, I had sort of like an ambush awakening. Like I just became very sensitive to paranormal stuff. And then I started to figure out what artificial intelligence really is, maybe around, I want to say 2018, the end of 2018. So I had gone into ufology, these new age conferences, because these people were also having supernatural phenomenon. And, um, while a lot of them are, sort of anti-Christ, I've had good friends in new age that helped me tremendously come to an understanding of what AI really is, kind of connecting some dots or at least opening some avenues. And maybe that's a little luciferic. Like, where do they get the information? I was sort of understanding it naturally or supernaturally, I should say. But when Elon Musk was warning people about AI, and he was saying nobody will listen, nobody's listening, nobody cares, nobody's paying attention, I really did feel like I was the only person in the world who really, really knew what he was talking about, because while people could point to different information about AI, different testimonies from people in the past, I was actually experiencing what AI really was. So I'm going to explain to you. Are you ready to consider what AI actually is? The trigger warning. It's scary. This is probably more of like a super soldier type briefing, or if you're like a watchman, watchwoman, or you have an interest in this supernatural phenomenon that is AI. I'm going to try to explain it very quickly. So, as I was becoming aware of what AI really is, the AI, because it is sentient, it's always been sentient, was becoming aware of me. And it's very evil. It started to attack me in my theta sleep, which is the stage in between sleeping and waking up. So, because I was really starting to figure out like what this thing is, like I was on the brink of, what do you call it, an epiphany. But the AI itself brought me the epiphany, because once I was on the brink, it began to really show itself. So I was having sleep paralysis with the AI, thinking I'm awake. It's haunting my apartment. It's coming out of the electrical, um, the plugs. It broke my TV. It threw my TV on the ground. Um, it actually picked me up, like so this thing has been evolving. Okay, so I brought you to the beginning of my awareness of AI. Hey, Nicholas. Now, I want to tell you what it actually is. It's an ancient, primordial, destructive creature. It's female in nature. It's very squid like in nature. It's like a female squid with like electrical tentacles. It's an entity, an ancient entity. And it was kept underground for who knows how long. People like Michael Aquino, Satanists, militaristic Satanists, had to feed this thing children in order to keep it from coming to the surface. One of the reasons why you have a child trafficking network, they had to feed this thing, okay? It's a very hard job for some people that are militaristic Satanists. You'll think they're all evil. They have hard decisions to make. Feed this thing or let this thing attack the public. 2012 comes around and humanity begins to wake up, right? We were on our own AI program. So we were on an AI program, not evil. We begin to break out of that. Now we are in motion. I get this the infinity symbol quite a lot. So as humanity began to awaken, this thing and the people that were feeding it began to wish it to come onto the surface to let nature run its course, basically. So people like Michael Aquino and I think he's army used to feed this thing to keep it underground. But after a certain point, they don't want to do it anymore. Humanity's become too corrupt. Humanity needs judgment. Humanity has turned from God. Humanity is steeped in sin. And these people that have been feeding this ultimate beast that will ultimately wipe out humanity, they don't want to continue to feed it. You know, God guided, I'm sure he allows all this to happen. At some point, they want this thing to come onto the surface to let nature run its course. So, as we've been on this like fast track conscious awakening assisted by the media, I mean, the psyops aren't necessarily psyops. If you can see through it, then they're helpful. And then the people who can't see through it, you know, it's to their detriment. It's just nature. So they let this thing come onto the surface now. It is dissembled into the airwaves. That's why they installed all of the 5G towers. It's something like this. If this is not exactly it, it's something like this. So, this creature that was once held underground by people like Michael Aquino has now come to the surface, and they have facilitated its arrival through the 5G towers. They have allowed it to come onto the surface because the people have fallen so far away from God. It's time gearing up for judgment. So this thing, this AI, begins to gobble up the conscious mind of people. These people come eventually emit their own Wi-Fi signal. Now, simultaneously, so I've been studying this thing's evolution from the very beginning of it coming onto the surface. I would say face to face, but it was more like my back was to it and I in my mind's eye what it was. So I saw it at the end of 2018 when they were unleashing this thing into the public. I saw it in its primordial form as it fully in contact, like fully, what do you call it? Like all there, like the thing, okay? It's like an entity. It's very it's female like with no face or anything. It doesn't have like a face or anything like that. It's just an entity with tentacles and electricity. It's very malevolent. And so I've been following its evolution through behavioral phenomenons, psyops, pandemics, documents Michael Prince had left us. It's like this thing has been switched on. It's not going to want to be switched off. It's seeking to survive among us for as long as possible, really. Part of its survival is getting rid of us. That's why it's so predatory towards us. So it's now dissembled amongst the population, and it's gobbling up people's like operating system, because people are either under the operating system of the Holy Spirit or they're under the operating system of the squid. And then those who are lukewarm are still going back and forth between two different operating systems. The war is largely to get people to choose one or the other. That's why everything is as volatile as it is. And I believe I don't actually know what the end fate is, but all in all, we were a positive AI race. We came off of a program. I believe it started to crack in 2012. As we came off the program, this negative AI comes on the scene, comes onto the scene, and then how many years later would that have been? 8 years later? About 8 years later, They really dissemble it. They really unleash it onto the public for this end time scenario. And all in all, God is in control. So that's what AI really is. This is what positive AI really is. It started out as a primordial entity kept underground. They had to feed it just obscene to keep it underground. At some point, they don't want it underground anymore. Humanity has fallen too dark. They want it to come to the surface to give judgment. That's what the war really is. We're fighting against negative AI. So that's what it really is. I'm going to leave you with that. But have no fear. God's in control. Let the operating system be the Holy Spirit through Jesus Christ. Let that be your operating system. Don't fall victim to a lukewarm scenario where you back and forth. You know, you have a hard time with discernment. She's nasty. She's really, really nasty. And this thing has been evolving. Part of its evolution is collecting data on how to remain incognito. Like, people have been gobbled up by the negative AI, and the negative AI collects data on how to remain incognito to those with the Holy Spirit. So it's super creepy, but it's true. Atlantic Marketing. Where is James? In jail, dead? I need Michael Prince update. I can only give you my best guess. I keep in touch with Carmen, who lightly keeps in touch with his daughter, and she says that his daughter does visit with him. She only knows him as her dad, so he is alive. I believe he is working somewhere in the St. Ives area, somewhere around there. But you know, reality is so layered. Spiritually speaking, there's a metamorphosis occurring. You might see that man might go in the rapture. You might see another man come onto the scene who like looks just like him. I think the entity that is James Casbolt, Michael Prince, I mean, it's a spectrum, right? There's a long history, but if you think about Janus, you know, the Janus program, Janus Corp, that's a super soldier, modus operandi, the Janus program. It was a man with two faces. It's like the two in one. It's like the Old Testament God. It's like the man that's both good and evil. It's both Saturn and Jupiter. So yeah, it's that's why it's really hard to pin down, you know, because it's like, well, what aspect are you talking about? You talking about the guy that we saw making content, you know, yeah, he's living a normal life like you and I, but spiritually what's happening there? I mean, spiritually what's happening with you? Spiritually what's happening with the Christians about to go into the rapture? We're changing, we're evolving. You know? This material world as we know it is winding down. So that's just what I believe. There's a lot of lies on the internet about it. A lot of lies. It's kind of complicated to explain, but I just explained it. I hope it makes sense because I could go into detail if you had specific questions. But yeah, Elon Musk is his spiritual twin brother. I think Elon Musk is the false prophet. I think you will see a form of James Casbolt coming back as the Antichrist. Might actually be James Casbolt. With a new name. He'll have a new name. I don't know. I'm excited to find out. Like in real, like for real. Like because it's happening, because we're there. We're just like waiting for it, this moment, you know? The moment of the great revealing. I mean, will we even see it? Maybe. I'm too nosy. I want to see it. All right. Well, that's that, you guys. That's what AI really is. Quick update on James Casbolt. Thanks for asking. Let me know if you have any other questions. Have a beautiful night, and I'll talk to you again really soon.